Hello, it's Mr. Holly. We're going to look at the problem set from Lesson 6. As we do this problem set, we are going to end up seeing a little bit of a pattern. So at the end of this video, we're going to discuss that pattern. I think it's a good discussion, so don't make sure you stick around for the end. Let's just go through these pretty quickly, though, because we are just practicing using our formula, the distance formula of which is the absolute value of P minus Q. This tells me the distance between any two numbers, okay? So, number one, the absolute value of negative 19 minus 12. So one thing to ask right here, maybe we stop for just a second and ask this question. What two integers are we comparing? Well, we have negative 19 and we're subtracting positive 12. So we're trying to find the difference between negative 19 and 12. That's what we're finding the difference, negative 19 and 12. Okay. Good. I'm going to change all this subtraction to addition. So I need to add the opposite of 12, which is negative 12. And negative 19 plus negative 12 is going to be negative 31. The absolute value of negative 31 is 31. Okay. Number two. The absolute value of 19 minus negative 12. So here I have positive 19 and negative 12. So let's go ahead and find the distance between those two integers. And that would be the absolute value of 19 plus 12. If I change subtraction to addition, I have to make this number the opposite. The opposite of negative 12 is positive 12. 19 and 12 is 31. The absolute value of 31 is 31. So number one is 31. Number two is 31. Number three. The absolute value of 10 minus negative 43. Going a little faster here. The absolute value of 10 plus 43 is going to be the absolute value of 53, which is 53. Number four. The absolute value of negative 10 minus 43 is going to be negative 10 plus negative 43, which is the absolute value of negative 53, which is 53. Number five. Scoot this down a little. The absolute value of negative 1 minus negative 16. That is the absolute value of negative 1 plus 16. That is the absolute value of 15, which is 15. Number 6. Let's go to the top of the paper here. Number 6. Number 6 is the absolute value of 1 minus 16. Absolute value of 1 minus 16. That would be the absolute value of 1 plus negative 16, which is the absolute value of negative 15, which is 15. Number 7. The absolute value of 0 minus negative 9. That's going to be the absolute value of 0 plus 9, which is the absolute value of 9, which is 9. 8. The absolute value of 0 minus 9. That's going to be the absolute value of 0 plus negative 9, which is the absolute value of negative 9, which is 9. Question number 9. the absolute value of negative 14.5, 14 5/10, minus 13. That is the absolute value of negative 14 5/10 plus negative 13. These two numbers have the same sign, so they are going to continue to get further away from 0. Negative 14 plus negative 13 is negative 27.5, or 5/10. And that is, the absolute value of that would be 27 5/10. Number 10. $14 5/10 minus negative 13. Well, I know that anytime I am subtracting, I can add the opposite. So I'm going to add the opposite of negative 13, which is 13. And that gives me 27.5. The absolute value of 27.5, which is 27.5. There we go. So, hopefully we saw the pattern. 31, 31, 53, 53, 15, 15, 9, 9, 27.5, 27.5. How did we get these answers, though? What is it about this question that causes us to get the same answers? And what I'd like to do is just kind of just pick one in general. So let's pick number 5, okay? 5 and 6. So if you look at the numbers involved in 5 and 6, okay, here I have negative 1 minus negative 16. So that means the numbers I'm using are negative 1 and negative 16. Here I'm using positive 1 and positive 16. Because we are taking the opposite of each of the numbers, like both numbers, we're taking their opposite, they're going to remain the same distance apart. So if I'm looking at two negatives here, like negative 1 and negative 16, those are going to be 15 apart. Made that a little too long. And if I'm looking at two positives, like 1 and 16, those are going to remain 15 apart. What if the signs were different? How about that first one? Negative 19 and positive 12. But over here we have positive 19 and negative 12. Well, because we are taking the opposite of both of the numbers, let's look at what that would look like. If this is at 0, and we're looking at negative 19, and we're going to go to positive 12, that means we have to go 19 to get to 0, and then an additional 12. On the other side, we're going from positive 19 to negative 12. Probably, well, we'll leave it right there. But, and that's going to be the same distance, because this is 19 spaces from 0, and this is 12 spaces from 0, so we have to go 31 spaces. Here, negative 12 is 12 spaces from 0, and 19 is 19 spaces from 0, so we still need to go 31. So because we're looking at the difference, the absolute value of the difference of the numbers, we were able to the distance did not change whenever we changed the sign of both of the numbers. It's just a little pattern. It's not something to remember. It's not like a tool that you'll necessarily use. It's just, you look at these answers, you say, wow, how did we end up with the same answer on 1 and 2, on 3 and 4, on 5 and 6, on 7 and 8? How did we end up with the same answer on all these? Well, by making these numbers opposites, they were able to maintain the same distance between the two integers. Okay. Hopefully you were able to kind of determine that pattern on your own. Good deal. All right. Thanks, guys. Reach out if you need anything.